So let us begin the tale of a man, about 50, who filled his mind with books of chivalry. The stories of knights and adventures consumed his days and nights, so that he became delirious from sleep deprivation. When he was finally absent of his mind, and it were beyond repair, he had an idea of sheer madness. This mad idea that our hero conceived of was to win honor for himself and serve his country by fighting for the greater good, on horseback. By becoming one of the knights from his tales of chivalry, so he fashioned some armor and held his helmet together with ribbons of green cloth. Since losing one's mind results in a new person, our hero renamed himself Don Quixote. All knights of lore had steeds, who are just as well known as they are. Don Quixote spent hours contemplating his horse's possible names. Finally, he settled on Rocinante to be the name of his mount. After changing his name and building his helmet, he did not wish to delay 1 minute more. In his mind, the world was being deprived of their great hero. Every second he waited. DQ decked himself in his armor and cardboard helmet, mounted his sickly ricochet, grabbed his lance and shield, and set out through the back gate and rode off into the wide. Imagine a sun so scorching that our hero's brain melted like ice cream. Having traveled all day, Don Quixote began to search for a castle that would fulfill the chivalric duty of hospitality. Instead, what he found was an inn not far from the road he was on. However, his goop brain took it for a castle. At the door of the inn stood 3 ladies of the night, working girls if you will. Imagining these working girls to be the ladies of the castle as they came to meet him at the gate. Having calmed the working girls, he enlisted them to take care of his horse, Rocinante. Accepting the innkeeper's generous offer, Don Quixote remembered that he had yet to break his fast. Finishing his meal with the help of the working girls, Don Quixote asked the innkeeper to knight him so that he could fulfill his dream of being a knight. Meanwhile, the innkeeper was telling his guest about the crazy man that they all had to see. So Don Q gathered up his armor and took it to the barnyard. There he laid it out in a trough for lack of an altar. Being a full moon, the guests were able to watch as one of the mule drivers went out to water his herd. and began to remove the armor from the trough. The mule driver ignored Don's warning and tossed the armor from the trough. This was a mistake. With that, Don Quixote grabbed his lance and gave the mule driver a wallop. After knocking out the enemy, Don Q resumed his pacing. Unknowingly, the second mule driver entered and also attempted to remove Don Quixote's armor from the altar. Without saying a single word, our mighty heroine swung his lance and broke the poor man's head into fourths. Now having worked himself into a frenzy, D was unfazed by the stones being thrown at him by the rabble. Our hero returns home to find himself a squire, and eventually sets his heart on his neighbor, Sancho Panza, and they set off for a new adventure. Our idiot hero and his loyal companion pick up and carry on with their adventure. Sancho sees figures on the road ahead. Fear not, for our knight-errant knows just what they are. Now it should come to no surprise that our valiant hero lowered his lance and charged for an innocent passerby. Had the friar not dropped from his donkey, Don Quixote would surely have slain him. When Sancho relieves the friar of anything of interest, including his donkey, our hero resumes his assault. The guy whacked Don pretty hard, hard enough to knock his armor off one side and cut his ear, as his helmet fell to the ground. The knight-errant held his sword in two hands and hit the other guy over the head. The lady of the carriage begged him to stop, but not before he stuck the point of his sword into the poor squire's eye. So Don Quixote and his squire ride off, Pancho having acquired an ass from the now partially blind man. Traveling over hill and plain, they eventually reach a field of windmills. As Sancho predicted, our hero did lose his supposed battle, charging headfirst at a stone windmill. Don was knocked to the ground by the blades that caught breeze as he approached. So our hero set out to earn his glory as a knight-errant with hapless Sancho by his side when he sees a herd of sheep stirring up dust. Continues to use his sharp insight with hopes of raising his stock. And so our hero charges the field, lancing and stabbing his foes, slaughtering the sheep with abandon as though he was participating in a true battle, until the shepherds and herdsmen began to sling stones at him, until one struck him between the ribs. Don Quixote thought he had been mortally wounded and fell from his horse, and laid there until Sancho came to his aid. Unfortunately for our heroes, success would not continue. The uncanny knight was now truly defeated and his spirit crushed. Sancho, his ever-faithful squire, took him home and remained by his side. Our hero's physical wounds were able to heal, allowing his mind to eventually be restored. His mind now in its original state, our hero left the world behind. And thus ends the tale of Don Quixote.